What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the two new upcoming packages, the physical infrastructure package, which is really part one, and the next stimulus package, which is part two, that they're going to end up passing both these packages probably at the same time, but pass them separately. We also discuss on this channel what is going on here in the United States, as well as what is going on in Washington, D.C. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates. New videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, if you can, hit the like button for us. It really helps out our channel. Now that we're getting close and they're actually kind of ironing out some details in both the physical infrastructure package and we're starting to materialize some details in the next stimulus package, I want to show you guys exactly what is and what could be in these next two packages. First, I want to say that the most likely way they're going to pass these packages is the Senate is probably going to pass the bipartisan infrastructure deal, the physical infrastructure part, I should say, which is really part one, and the social infrastructure, which is the stimulus package, is part two. They're probably going to pass the part one, the physical infrastructure package, in the Senate and send it over to the House. Then I expect relatively shortly thereafter, they're going to pass the next stimulus package. The House is probably not going to vote on the physical infrastructure package. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, is probably going to hold that bill temporarily, taking a page out of good old Mitch McConnell's playbook, and basically going to send it temporarily into Nancy Pelosi's new graveyard, where she's going to let it temporarily rest while the Senate then goes to pass the next stimulus package. However, the Senate is going to pass the next stimulus package through the reconciliation process, which is the process on how they pass the third stimulus check package. That means they're going to pass it with only 50 votes, or 51, instead of the normal 60 votes that you normally need. Normally in the Senate, you need 60% or 60 votes or more to pass a bill because of the filibuster rule. The filibuster rule requires 60 votes or 60%, and that makes it pretty hard actually to pass bills in the Senate. The House of Representatives is not like that. You only need one more vote over 50%, and then majority rules because you're 50.1%. However, the Senate has this very old rule called the filibuster rule, which has actually been over the decades has been kind of weakened. And former President Donald Trump tried to get rid of it back in 2017, 2018, because when the Republicans controlled the House, the Senate, and the presidency, they realized it was a huge roadblock to passing bills in the Senate. Now the Democrats realize it's a huge roadblock to passing bills in the Senate, and it seems that whoever is in charge of the Senate at any particular moment, the Senate seems to flip-flop all the time from Republican to Democrat to Republican to Democrat, and whoever happens to be in charge of the Senate realizes that this filibuster rule kind of sucks, and it's kind of a pain in the side of whoever's trying to pass bills. So they're going to pass the physical infrastructure package probably with bipartisan support, where they will need 60 plus votes to pass that. If they can hold it together, it's hanging on by a shoestring. They will then send that over to the House. The House will probably pause and not vote on it right away. And then the Senate will have to then vote on the next stimulus package, of which we expect not a single Republican will vote yes on it, and the Democrats will pass it anyways with the reconciliation process, which is exactly how the Democrats passed the third stimulus check package. What will likely happen is we will see 50 Democrats in the Senate vote yes, we will see 50 Republicans vote no, and then the tiebreaker vote will go to the Vice President of the United States, who just happens to be a Democrat, Vice President Kamala Harris, who will side with the Democrats and will vote for the 51st vote for the tiebreaker vote. There's all sorts of rules that go with this budgetary reconciliation process. The main rule is that it has to affect the budget, okay? We've seen this back from the third stimulus check package. The Democrats tried to include a $15 an hour federal minimum wage provision, and they couldn't do it. The Senate parliamentarian kind of gave an advisory. It's not necessarily a rule because you don't have to actually listen to her. You can actually just vote around her, him or her. It happens to be a woman right now. But her advisory was, yeah, it doesn't really affect the national budget, even though I kind of think it does. But they voted on it anyways. It just didn't have enough votes to pass. So the main rule for reconciliation is, does it affect the national budget? If it does, for example, a fourth stimulus check, the government sends out stimulus checks and it costs the government money, so it affects the national budget. If there's a Social Security raise, it costs the government money, right? There's a monetary transaction that is happening and it affects the budget. Okay, that's the simplest of rules. So, for example, you couldn't pass a January 6th election or January 6th insurrection committee through reconciliation because there's no monetary transaction and it doesn't affect the budget. You couldn't pass an election rule to reform election rules because it doesn't affect the budget, if that kind of makes sense. That's the simplistic form, but that is likely what we're going to see happen. Now, the real questions is, the bipartisan bill for the physical infrastructure currently has a deal that's holding on by a thread. They're still kind of working out the kinks. One of the big kinks they're working out is how they're going to pay for it, or at least pay for a portion of these bills. Remember, they don't have to pay for any of these bills. The first 6 stimulus packages, 5 that were passed by former President Trump, 2 of which had stimulus checks. There was 5 passed in total. The other 2 didn't actually have stimulus checks, but they were stimulus packages. They had other stimulus provisions in there. He passed 5. Current President Biden passed 1. 6 stimulus packages. There were no tax raises for any of those, so they don't have to actually raise taxes to pass these packages, although that is the current like popular opinion right now. So that's kind of what they're negotiating over right now. They have a deal of $1.2 trillion over 8 years for the physical infrastructure package, and here is what is in it. Next, I will show you the possibilities, what is in the next stimulus package. Okay, here's a quick glance of part 1. I'll get to the stimulus package next. The blue bars here are what President Biden originally wanted in the American Jobs Plan, which is the physical infrastructure package. The kind of tan-ish orange looking bar is what is actually going to be spent here from the bipartisan group. You can see that some of these categories, there's a few more down below, which I'll show you, are significantly cut versus what President Biden initially wanted. Mostly, if you can see here, electric vehicles, President Biden initially wanted $157 billion for electric vehicles and electrical grids and electrical stations across the country for electric cars and stuff like that. 90% reduction there in the amount. Roads, bridges, and major projects did have about, what is that, $45 billion in reduction there on roads, bridges, and major projects. Water infrastructure was reduced by half. So you can see there is a significant reduction here. Broadband, 100 billion to 65 billion. We could see some stimulus provisions here in this broadband category here because if you follow this channel, you know that there is a broadband internet stimulus. It's getemergencybroadband.org where you can actually apply and get $50 off your internet bill per month paid for by the government from the second stimulus check package, $75 per month if your household is on a qualifying tribal land, and up to $100 off a laptop, tablet, or desktop computer. And you can apply right here on this government website. Again, the website is getemergencybroadband.org. This is money passed from the second stimulus check package. We could see money in this from the infrastructure package here when they pass it and we get the final details, okay? power structure, we think of like when Texas had that winter storm and their power structure went out. We do, need some power structure upgrades going into the future. Remember, this is over the next 8 years, so this is something that kind of takes us into the next future. And you can see we have all sorts of things here: public transit, passenger and freight rail, infrastructure, resiliency, airports, reconnecting communities. We could have some type of stimulus money in there as well. Port and waterways, road safety, Western water storage, orphan wells, and abandoned mines. Also, you can see in these blue bars here priorities that were excluded that President Biden initially wanted that did not get any money in there at all. Housing, schools, and building. President Biden initially wanted $326 billion. There's currently $0 in there. President Biden also wanted long-term care, $400 billion in there for senior long-term care. This could have been a nice stimulus provision in there for seniors, long-term care that probably would have been funded for by the government. There's currently no money in there right now. I say currently because until this is passed, all this is still up for negotiations. But this is not a big contention point. This is not really being fought for that much right now. We're going to see a lot more fighting in the next stimulus package. Tax credits, including clean energy, $0. R&D and manufacturing, $0, as well as some things that were originally not in the Biden plan is financing authority, $20 billion, and $5 billion for a super fund remediation. Now, next, I want to discuss what and if and what will be in the next stimulus package called the American Families Plan, or Part 2 of the Infrastructure Plan, the Human Infrastructure Plan, or the Social Infrastructure Plan. Number one, I want to say, and this kind of goes for the physical infrastructure plan, even though they kind of have a bipartisan deal, they're really still negotiating them. And here's what's important. This is very important for the next stimulus package. Everything is up for negotiation. Even the kind of the items that they initially said when they kind of announced the American Families Plan, they had kind of a framework of what President Biden kind of wanted in there. As we just seen there was a bunch of items that Biden initially announced for the first part, the physical infrastructure package, that were completely thrown out. Okay, there's also things that were added in. Okay, and when we go back from the past stimulus packages, when we look at the second stimulus check package, there was originally no stimulus check in there at all. In fact, up until 6 days before the second stimulus check passed, there was no stimulus check in there at all. And finally, 6 days before that second stimulus check package passed, they added in the second stimulus check of $600. Okay, so even up till 7 days before, there was no stimulus check in there. We had a large push. We had a lot of people, congressmen, congresswomen, and a lot of you guys, a lot of people, petitions, does that sound familiar? Pushing for another stimulus check. And eventually they said, you know what? We got to include another stimulus check or they're going to have our heads. And they included a second stimulus check in there. And even up to the third stimulus check package. In fact, the House of Representatives passed the third stimulus check package with the minimum wage provision. It went to the Senate and they said, nope. And they actually took it out. So things can literally be taken out up until the president signs them, or they're passed in the House and the Senate. And they actually added in the $10,200 unemployment tax break provision, which meant that the average person that had unemployment income retroactively last year got an extra $1,000 stimulus check. Okay, that was added in after the House of Representatives passed their bill. That wasn't even in their bill. And they lowered the income thresholds for the third stimulus check from $100,000 down to $80,000 for a single filer. Single filer head of households were still higher than that at $112,500. So the important part to note here is that I'm going to show you this kind of little graph we made up here of all the things that could or could not be in this next package. Okay, here is everything that is currently being discussed in this next stimulus package, the American Families Plan. The important note is every single one of these items could be or could not be in this next package, okay? There is not a single thing on here that has a 100% chance of yes, it will be included, and there is not a single thing in here that has a 100% chance of no, it will not be included. That is the most important part here because this is all up for negotiation. Nobody, including Nancy Pelosi or Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer or Mitch McConnell, can definitively tell you, yes, there will be a forced stimulus check, or no, there will not be a forced stimulus check. Nobody can give you that answer because this is still up for negotiation, and the answer can just not be given yet. So for every single one of these 24 items here on the screen, there is no yes or no answer. It's kind of a we're deciding this right now answer. So let me go through these and we will kind of discuss this. Number one, a fourth stimulus check. And number two, a monthly recurring fourth stimulus check. We talk about this a lot here on the channel. There is plenty of money included in this next stimulus package. And there's also $1 trillion or more that is left over from the previous stimulus check packages that is unspent money that can be used for a forced stimulus check or even multiple monthly recurring stimulus checks that they could pass without even spending a single dime of new stimulus money. They can actually pass $3,000 or more of stimulus checks in this next package without even a new dime of new money passed, okay? That's just from the old stimulus money that is sitting there from unspent money, okay? So I personally think it's a very real possibility that there will be at least, at the bare minimum, a single stimulus check. I personally think at the bare minimum, a single stimulus check will be no less than probably $1,200 to $1,400. I don't see a small stimulus check in here. I don't really see them going less. Everything the Democrats want in these next stimulus checks and the next stimulus packages seem to be more, more. And that is, if you look at what they've been passing in the third stimulus check package and what they're pushing for in this next stimulus package is more. Okay, next up is Social Security raises. I've talked about this a lot on the channel as well. There's like 3 or 4 different Social Security raise proposals for all of Social Security, and there's one provision that is just for SSI, but the other 2 or 3 of them are for all Social Security. And when I say all Social Security, I mean everybody that's under the Social Security umbrella, SSI, SSDI, regular Social Security, VA, railroad benefits, everybody under Social Security, $200 per month or a floor of $1,341 per month minimum. I tend to go over weekly updates over what is going on with the Social Security raises, so I will link you to my most recent video I did on that at the end of this video. Next up is Medicare expansion. This has been a hot topic here lately over the last few days as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has come on board and said, yes, he is in favor of adding Medicare extra benefits into this next stimulus package. This was originally not even mentioned when President Biden announced the American Families Plan. So again, that just goes to show you that all these items can be added in or subtracted up until the day they pass it. Originally, Medicare expansion was not even mentioned, wasn't even a thought, and Senator Bernie Sanders has really been leading the charge for this. Senator Bernie Sanders is also in favor of $2,000 monthly stimulus checks, and I think when the time comes for to push really hard, like when they're really down to the nitty gritty, like, hey, what's going to be in this package? That's when we're going to get to be really see what will be in this package, and I think there will be a lot of these in here. The Medicare benefits that they're pushing for is hearing, dental, vision, and hearing aids to be included in Medicare. Senator Bernie Sanders says 75% of seniors do not have these benefits, and they also want to lower the Medicare eligibility age to age 60 or age 55 with no additional costs for Medicare. Next up is an extension of the child tax credits. These are those monthly stimulus checks starting on July 15th that are $250 per month per child, children ages 6 through 17, for a total of $3,000 per year, or $3,600 per year for children under the age of 6, or $300 per month that are going to start on July 15th. Those are currently only passed for 1 year, this year, 2021. The Democrats want to extend that until 2025 or even permanently. That is actually more beneficial if you have children than a single stimulus check, because it's $3,000 to $3,600 per year every single year. The Medicare expansion would actually go forever. These Social Security raises would actually go forever as well. The monthly stimulus checks could go for a while too. These things right here, there's actually several things right here that would probably be more beneficial than just a single stimulus check. So there are several things in here. Now, of course, you may disagree. You might not qualify for some of these things. Everybody will eventually qualify for Social Security and Medicare when they get old enough. But I'm only 40 years old, so I don't qualify for Social Security or Medicare. But I personally think that Social Security and Medicare, eventually, when everybody gets to that age, these will be very, very, very important changes to include these additional benefits for everybody and Social Security raises for everybody. That would be raises that would go on forever. Those are very important because these are things that would happen forever, not just a single stimulus check. So please keep that in mind, that there are some very important changes that could be in this package or even in the next package. Okay. Everything probably won't make it in this next package. Whatever doesn't make it in this package, they'll probably try to finish up in the next package. There's a lot of talk about childcare, where the government will either pay for all or a portion of your childcare. So if you have to go to work and your child has to go to childcare, the government might pay for part or all of it going forward. 2 years of free college. This is an absolute huge one that anybody that makes below the income threshold, that's probably the same as the third stimulus check, would be able to qualify for free 2 years of free community college. President Biden originally announced this plan as 4 years of free college, and they've kind of backed it off down to 2 years. I think their plan is to pass it at 2 years of free community college, and then later on, maybe in the next package or the next package or two down the road, extend it to 4 years, similar to what they did with the child tax credits. They passed it for 1 year. Now they talk about how awesome it is. Now they're like, hey, let's extend it and make it even greater. So I think that's what they're going to do with free college. They're like, hey, let's just get it done. Let's get it in the books. Let's get it free college for 2 years for everybody. Then we can work on making it 4 years and expanding it to maybe other types of colleges later on. So you could go to college, even if you never went to college. You could be 90 years old or you could be 18 years old. You could go to college after they pass this next package for free if this is included. They also want to do the same thing with preschool, 2 years, or not even 2 years, but they just want to give free preschool to any children that qualify, up to a $25,000 home buyer credit. Again, there's several different criteria that we really don't know the details of until they pass it. But yes, if you recently bought a home or if you want to buy a home here anytime in the next few years, you could get a $25,000 credit, tax credit, or even a down payment credit. There could be more mortgage assistance, rent assistance, utility assistance, and internet assistance, like that emergency broadband assistance in this next package. So we have had people on this show get over $10,000 of rent assistance here on this channel from these rent assistance and mortgage assistance and utility assistance programs that are going on right now. I will discuss this in more episodes on this channel. So if you don't know how this works, just subscribe and stay tuned to the channel. I will go over it in more episodes. Student loan forgiveness and other types of debt forgiveness. I think we're going to see at least $10,000 of student loan debt forgiveness, but probably after they pass this package through a presidential executive order. And then I think once they do the student loan debt forgiveness, I think we're going to see a large movement for other types of debt forgiveness, like credit card debt forgiveness, medical debt forgiveness, tax debt forgiveness, and other types of debt forgiveness. I think we're going to see that for people who didn't qualify for student loan debt forgiveness. And we could see a SNAP, WIC, and pandemic EBT increase as well, included in this next stimulus package as well, to extend those extra SNAP benefits and pandemic EBT benefits that a lot of people are benefiting from right now. We could see an extension of that in this next package. Paid family and medical leave is one thing that President Biden is very in favor of, could be included in this next package, as well as the earned income tax credit, also known as the childless worker tax credit. So people without children qualify for this earned income tax credit. You can actually get up to $6,600 for this. I actually have a link in the description of this video if you want to see if you qualify for that. It's like the child tax credit, but it's for adults without children. So there's the child tax credit, and then there's the adult earned income tax credit. So there's actually one for both. There's one for children, and then there's one for people without children. There's also a dependent care tax credit that they want to extend, as well as health insurance tax credits. And actually, there's a lot of people right now that qualify for free health insurance through healthcare.gov, and they want to extend that going forward. I will have more details on that for you guys here within the next few episodes. From the third stimulus check package, they passed the $10,200 unemployment tax credit, which made the average person that got unemployment benefits last year get about a $1,000 tax refund. Some people got $2,200 if they were in the 22% tax bracket. Some people got a little bit less, a little bit more. That was retroactive for 2020. We could see them pass this again for 2021. So if you have unemployment income for this year, 2021, you could get that if they pass that in this package or the next package as well. There could be an extension of the unemployment benefits as well. This doesn't have that high of a chance to pass, but Democrats do want this, a lot of Democrats. But again, it's not one of the highest chances for this one. But remember, Republicans hate this idea, but Democrats do still kind of want this, and Democrats are going to pass this next package on their own. So keep that in mind. There is likely going to be some increase in taxes, but it's probably going to be for corporations and people that make over $400,000. And there's a lot of kind of talks about this, but President Biden has said that there will be no tax increases for anybody making less than $400,000. And more. There's several things that could be added in. There actually could be a few things I forgot. Let me know if I forgot anything. Please comment down below, and if I see that, I will add this in here. This is the majority of the main items. And there's also things that could be added in at the last minute that might not even be on here. The $10,200 unemployment tax credit last time around wasn't even on the block, and they added it in the day they passed it in the Senate after the House had already passed it. The Senate amended it and added it in. It wasn't even currently being discussed, and yet they added that in there, and the average person on unemployment got an extra $1,000 check because of it. So remember, any of these items can be added in, removed, or negotiated on literally up until the day both the House and the Senate pass this. So let me know your thoughts. Make sure to subscribe down below. I will keep you updated with everything. Remember that new videos come out here on my channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to subscribe. It's completely free, and click the bell icon to all notifications to get reminder notifications when new videos come out. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. This bottom video is my newest video about different stimulus checks that are going out in July, August, and September. And this video is my newest video about Social Security increases from President Joe Biden. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.